Well, hello there everyone. It's UXW Bill here once again, talking about technology for a brief period of time. You see, most pieces of technology and machinery and things like that are supposed to make your life easier. Unfortunately, this little thing did not. As you saw in my previous video, it revealed that there is a huge filthy mess underneath the refrigerator here at Walsh Motors. So something must be done to clean this up, because this is severely cutting into the efficiency and cooling capability of this refrigerator. And while I was doing this, I thought I might as well make it a sort of how-to video so that you could also take a look underneath your refrigerator or at the back of it if the condenser coils happen to be on the back in your particular unit, and improve the efficiency of your own refrigerator. So I'm going to talk about how to clean the coils on your refrigerator. Now, this particular refrigerator has the condenser coils on the bottom, and there is a fan at the back that draws air over them. This is a little bit more efficient than simply having a condenser mounted in free air on the back of the refrigerator. The only bad side to this is that the fan tends to draw in all kinds of dust and dirt from the floor. And believe me, there is a lot of dust and dirt on the floor in your home, even if you're a neat freak. Stuff that gets traipsed in, and this fridge is sitting right by an entry door, it's going to get sucked up and pulled through this thing, and it's going to result in a clog. So let's see what kind of tools you need in order to get started. Now, if your refrigerator is like this one and has the condenser coil on the bottom, you will need a vacuum cleaner with a crevice tool attachment. You may also benefit from having a special purpose brush like this one with which to clean off the condenser coils. And, of course, you'll need a vacuum cleaner and a way to see underneath there. It may also be advantageous to have a helper, because a helper could tilt the fridge back, which might in some cases make it much easier to get at the coils on the bottom. Just be careful if you do that the doors don't suddenly come open on the refrigerator, that the refrigerator doesn't have an open food item in it that can slop out all over the place, and that you don't break a refrigeration line no matter what type of refrigerator you have. Now, if your refrigerator is of the type that has a condenser coil on the back, you'll benefit from a different kind of tool to use with your vacuum cleaner. This tool would be a brush, just like this one. And this brush would fit onto the end of your vacuum cleaner and allow you to gently, safely, and carefully clean your refrigerator's condenser coil with a great deal of effectiveness. So, now that you know what you need, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing to do is to reach inside your refrigerator and turn the temperature controls to off. Then go around back and unplug your refrigerator. It is worth noting that if you elect to do this yourself, everything in your kitchen is going to get very dirty. So make sure that your vacuum cleaner is up to the task. And if you suffer from a dust-related allergy, maybe consider getting someone to do this for you while you take a day out on the town and go watch a movie or shop at a thrift store or something along those lines. In order to actually get at the condenser coil, if it is on the bottom of your refrigerator, you may need to remove a decorative trim piece, such as this one, from the front before you can continue. Most of them are held in just like this one is, using a spring clip like you can see here. However, some refrigerators do use screws in order to hold this into place. If yours is like that, you'll have to stop for a moment and get an appropriate screwdriver. Once you have taken that decorative trim out of the way, you can see the mess that awaits you underneath, and you can get started with your brush. You can see those coils are starting to look a lot better already. But we are just getting started here. When you have finished doing as much scrubbing as you can in one area with your brush, It's time for the vacuum cleaner. Go ahead and have a quick comparison to the side of the coil that I haven't cleaned yet. And you can see that there is quite a difference between over here and over there. It's still not perfect yet. I've got a long ways to go because I have to get that curved up area all the way at the back. It also looks like maybe the gasket on the refrigerator's door is starting to fail, and that will reduce its efficiency as well. So let me go in here and get the other side of the coil all cleaned up. Look at that mess. Now for the back side of the refrigerator. This part's a lot less fun, so you can usually start out easily enough just by vacuuming the floor behind the fridge. However, a word of caution. Number one, definitely unplug the refrigerator before going back here, because as you can see, there is exposed wiring that could short or shock you if you come into contact with it. Number two, in a frost-free refrigerator such as this one, there is a water collection tray in the bottom, and there are variations on this theme. Some refrigerators mount this tray on top of the compressor and allow the gentle heat produced by the compressor to drive the water off over time. And some refrigerators do as this one does and place the water tray underneath the compressor and the fan, so that a combination of heat and airflow will serve to drive the water off. The water is produced when every now and again a defrost timer shuts off the compressor and turns on a heating element that is usually located in the freezer compartment. Either way, unless you're using a shop vac or similar indoor-outdoor capable vacuum that doesn't mind sucking up water, you don't want to suck up water with your regular household vacuum because you run the risk of getting an electrical shock. So keep that in mind when you're cleaning back here. That said, it's pretty much the same old game. Just carefully take your crevice tool and clean off the fan motor, the blades, and if you can get at them safely, the coils as well. If you really want to get in here, you can try to disassemble this, but I don't recommend it, especially if you don't know where all the refrigeration lines go, or if you have an ice maker and you don't know where the water shutoff is for it, because you could really make your day a lot worse. Now use care when you're vacuuming in here so as not to distort the blades on that fan, because if you knock that fan out of balance, you'll make your refrigerator a good deal noisier. You may cause the fan to become unable to run at all, which will cause a cooling system malfunction down the line, and you may damage the motor. Now if the little motor has places for lubrication on it, you may want to get some lightweight electric motor or machine oil and carefully place a few drops in each end of the motor. But if not, go ahead and keep cleaning. I recommend you be very careful when you do something similar to what I'm doing here. As you can see, we've just got all kinds of fun dust bunnies in there. While you're back here, you may want to perform a cursory electrical safety examination of the unit. For example, by making sure that all the ground wires, such as this one here, are properly connected. You may also want to take this time to test the electrical outlet using a little electrical outlet tester that you can buy at a hardware store to make sure that the outlet your refrigerator is plugged into is properly grounded. This is important because if your refrigerator were ever to develop a hot to ground short, you would want it to blow a fuse instead of waiting to give someone a potentially fatal electrical shock. I have had this happen. My grandfather's refrigerator had the heating element that keeps the bottom of the ice maker warm so the cubes will come out, decay, and fail. His refrigerator was not plugged into a properly grounded outlet. The chassis was live and waiting to give anyone who happened to touch it, who was particularly well grounded at the time, quite an electrifying surprise, as I later found out. That situation was rectified by installing a properly grounded outlet and plugging the refrigerator into it. Of course, any modern kitchen should have ground fault circuit interrupting outlets installed in it, probably per the electrical code in your part of the world. Again, make sure that you check with local authorities and the code for your particular location in the world to make sure that your electrical wiring has been done correctly. As a final check, you may want to look at the pan that the condensate water builds up in, because here it is a metal pan and it may eventually rust due to the continual exposure of water, various kinds of ick, and air. This one is a little shaky, but it's still in pretty decent shape. And as you can see, things are definitely quite a bit cleaner here. I'm going to go over the rest of the refrigerator now and just kind of make sure that that condenser coil at the bottom is as clean as I can possibly have it. I was actually considering tilting the refrigerator backwards carefully, or actually getting someone to help me tilt the refrigerator backwards carefully, but the simple fact of the matter is I really don't want to have to take everything off the top of it and try to find another home for it. If the dust problem that you have back here is bad enough, you may want to go ahead and remove that fan and actually consider getting a hold of an air compressor and blowing backwards through the condenser coil. You may also try cleaning these fan blades by carefully working your finger in there and removing any wads of dust from around the stuff that's in here. It also looks like on this particular refrigerator that I can get back in here with the crevice tool from the other side around the compressor, but I will want to be careful not to break or crimp any of these refrigerant lines. So let me get my vacuum back here to clean this stuff up in a little more detail. And when you're satisfied that you have everything clean enough, you can go ahead and plug the refrigerator back into the wall outlet. And then you should go around and reset the operating controls to their normal working positions, at which point the refrigerator may very well start up. When you've turned the refrigerator back on, if it's started running, go ahead and check the airflow with your hand, making sure not to touch any of the electrical or moving parts at the back of the refrigerator. You should notice that the air will be growing slightly warmer as the compressor builds pressure and the refrigeration cycle begins. You should also listen to the compressor, which should be producing a quiet, thrumming motor noise. Any other noise probably indicates that the system is in a little bit of distress and may require service. With that, you're pretty much done. If there's a cover on the back of your refrigerator, go ahead and replace it at this time, and then push the refrigerator back up to the wall, leaving an inch or two for ventilation purposes. Take care, of course, to make sure that you don't inadvertently bulldoze the power cord or the water line going to the ice maker or front door water service if your unit is so equipped. Then you can go ahead and put the front panel trim back in place if you had to remove it in order to get at your refrigerator's coils. That's pretty much all there is to it. Just make sure that you're careful when you clean this, when you clean your refrigerator's own coils.